A cryptocurrency entrepreneur has been arrested in Montenegro. Interpol announced the arrest of Dokwon, the founder of two cryptocurrencies.
Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Happy Gay Crypto here, and let's jump straight into it because this is really following up on the Dokwon situation, the whole palaver in Montenegro for him. And it really is a strange situation for him to be in because they've attempted to travel on forged documents, which is a pretty severe charge in itself. To most people on the internet at the moment, it just seems like it's just a fake passport, but it's actually a serious charge. And we all know there's different countries that want to extradite him, and two of those countries is South Korea and the United States. I've even heard there's places where you can put bets down on who's going to extradite him. Crazy, right? So this article's dropped, and I thought 3 hours ago, it's definitely worth a punt. So Dokwon's extradition likely to take time, Montenegrin prosecutors say. A prosecutor investigating Terraform Labs CEO Dokwon for alleged passport forgery in Montenegro has indicted that he will not be extradited soon. The law enforcement official told South Korean media that Montenegrin authorities intend to indict Kwon within a month, ruling out the possibility of him being handed over to other countries within the detention period. So passport forgeries investigations take precedence over extradition requests in Dokwon's case. It may take some time before an extradition process begins with Dokwon, the South Korean Yonhap news agency reported, quoting the prosecutor working on the case of the Terraform Labs co-founder who was recently arrested in Montenegro. Judicial condemnation of crimes that have taken place in Montenegro's jurisdiction is a priority for the authorities in the small Balkan nation. Haris Subotic stated in an interview in Montenegrin capital Podgorica on Monday, I'm sorry if I'm saying this name wrong, Subotic is in charge of the local investigation against Kwon for alleged forging of documents. There's probably someone sat there like holding their hand up like, bruh! Absolutely slaying my language.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
Sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. The chief executive of the company behind the failed stablecoin Terra USD and cryptocurrency Luna was detained on March 23rd while trying to board a flight to Dubai using a fake Costa Rican passport. So Kwon, as in his full name in Korean, disappeared after deporting for Singapore in April 2022, right before the collapse of the two coins UST and Terra. See, that's just coincidental in itself because they moved their company to another place, and it was, but we just don't know that. So he then fled to Serbia, where he reportedly registered a new firm before eventually ending up in neighbouring Montenegro. And I have seen the documentation for this new firm. He was creating a firm to help his own benefit, and so it would work for him. He wouldn't need to question things because it was his own system. This is why I always say we need to question the most intelligent person in the room at all times and never just take their word for stuff, because you just end up with people like this. Power corrupts the best of us. The goal is to indict Kwon within that period. So what is really interesting with this article for me is what forged documents carry for the everyday person, for the average Joe, right? It's around 5 years. I don't know how the justice system is in Montenegro. If it's anything like a lot of these other small countries, there's probably going to be so many different things that they're going to throw on him, keep him there for as long as they can. They might even try squeezing him for some cryptos. You just don't know in these situations because he's so far away from where he calls home. And he must feel so, I can't imagine what his cell is like, but he must feel so alone. And you just think to yourself, why not just cooperate if it was all going to lead to this anyway? It must be pretty bad, right? If you need to go on the run for 8 months, forge a passport, forge your friend a passport, have your friend travel with you, for you both to be arrested, in the end anyway. And it's worse for him because now he's in a situation where he doesn't actually have control over who's going to extradite him. So we can see here, I'll highlight it with my super simple highlighter. South Korea, the United States and Singapore are all trying to secure Kwon's extradition, whilst Subotic declined to discuss the matter in detail as it's not up to the prosecution to decide on the request. He emphasized that the fake passport case investigation will be prioritized, noting, "We can move on to the next step only after the prosecution of this case is over. We are not interested in the issue of extradition," which is an interesting comment to come from the person prosecuting it. So who knows? They could just simply release him. Say they give him a fine. They could just release him. They could send him to jail for 5 years. If he goes to jail for 5 years, I think there's something that a lot of the community doesn't know about Alliance. Alliance was designed by Dokwon. He designed the whole thing, the whole system. Alliance and Feather, both designed by Dokwon. He's the guy who knows how to bring his dream together. My worry is now is Luna is going to start to lag behind. As much as we want to act like things are going to be okay, and I keep saying this to people, I think it's better that we're prepared for each turn of this case, this situation, and what happens with Mr. Kwon, because it's very important for our community not to freak out on the basis of what this putz is done, not done, where he's been hiding, where he's been run into. But it just goes to show, all of these different times when he's been saying, well, I'm not running. No one's trying to chase me. Apparently there was. Apparently there is. And now there's a lot of people that want to get Mr. Kwon into a courtroom. So what do you folks think? Do you think he's going to end up back in South Korea? Do you think the United States are going to get hold of him? Singapore? I think, and I could be wrong here, it's just a theory, I think the United States are going to get him. I think they're going to get him so they can make an example of him. South Korea will find some sort of benefit from the situation, and the same possibly with Singapore. Maybe the United States would sweeten some kind of trade deal, something like that. This guy was one of the most wanted on Interpol's list for a while. His case, getting that tried in a court, okay, it's groundbreaking for prosecutors. And the thing is with him, he's hit the ground running already because he's fled, he's evaded, he's got all of these different kind of charges that they're going to throw at him. He's going to be put on a stand, he's going to be questioned, and the likelihood is he's going to be tried by a jury. And I can't imagine if America gets him, how many people are going to turn up to that court to give statement, to give witness, to give testimony of just everyday people. All of the people that I met during the collapse and then just after the collapse. I mean, a lot of the people remember Stefan, our main moderator in the group, who helped me better understand Telegram when I first started back in May. He lost a lot of money in the collapse, a lot of money. I hope wherever he is now, I hope you're doing great, buddy. If you are listening to this, huge shout out to you. But he did lose a lot of money, and possibly you're going to see people like him in court give their case, their testimony of how this guy robbed them of their livelihood, their life savings, their dreams. We all know about the guy who turned up at Dokwon's house, ended up getting arrested. There's all these different things. I think it's interesting. We're going to keep following it. We're going to keep reporting on it, and we're going to keep simply updating you as this transpires. We have got a podcast coming up probably later on during the week. I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'll leave it until the podcast drops. I hope you're going to enjoy it. Other than that, have a really nice day wherever you are. I hope you had a nice lunch, chilling out, had a nice day at work. Moving on to Thursday, a couple more videos coming out later today possibly, and just keeping in this nice little cozy routine. Folks, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and most of all, what do we always say? Beware of scammers, beware of doppelgangers, beware of anybody pretending to be me, and we will catch you in the next one.
Shot you, goddamn you.